Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Today we have an interesting request. Actually, the submission is about neighbor bets, but I will not test it that way. The original strategy is actually a main number and plus 5 on the left side of the main number plus 5 on the right side of the main number. So we are actually testing a neighbor strategy, but it is 11 numbers. So what I will do is that I already created the progression, and each phase we end up with profit and we reset. Okay, so the reason I test every strategy is that I want to see how far we can go with any strategy, and it will give us a lot of idea. While I'm speaking, I will show you guys there are a lot of faces here, but 21, and I want to show you guys the strategy breakdown. So we start with 10 and then we rebet again, so we are still making profit. Then we increase it to 20 cents, then 30, 40, and then there is a big jump there, 60, 80, and now 120. There was a big jump, there is a big jump here. So you are seeing the jumps are increasing towards the end. Okay, yes, so it just did it for 14 faces, but it doesn't matter. I will include the description of the progression and everything in the description of this video as usual. So what we want to know is that if we start with 10 cents and then if we have 21 faces, we will need 3,434.20. so let's put this in the bankroll. We can actually, this is my suggested bankroll, and it's always 4 times more than the total cost. We can actually go crazy and do this and paste, and we could just look for 1%. Okay, so if we are hitting this number, that's amazing. Let's see. So the blue line is the balance, our starting bet, and then this is the profit goal. Okay, we will see what the gambling point is, minimal face and bankroll requirement, and then the safest point. So I created this. I will actually show you guys later. Some people, they they play with trigger systems. Sometimes they wait for 3 losses and then they keep betting on that doesn't, or on the opposite doesn't, or any way they play, I'm not sure. But I added that trigger point and trigger cost. So what we want to do is that the trigger point here, we are skipping those faces, and then you will see under the trigger cost, you are gonna see we are betting actually from face X to the safest point, or I'm sorry, to the minimal face. So what we are trying to do here is that we are trying to figure this out, okay, with every strategy. That's why you need to pay attention because I don't even know what would 11 numbers would bring us. I don't even know if it's gonna hit the profit target. I have no idea, but we are learning as we go together, and actually I am building up this application as we go. Okay, so let's see. The first goal is 137.37 with 10 cents bet. Okay, and that's ready, that's set. And after that we can actually go beyond this test, where it's right here, this simulation. Okay, the simulation is gonna give us more idea, because I can actually change this to 10,000 and then change this to 10 or 100, which would make a million. Okay, but this is not yet. Let's see. This is our preview. We don't need that. We don't need that. So we could actually just start. Okay, and I want to see how far it goes, and I want to see the failing point. So we will be playing automatically and fast. So let's go down, and then let's see how this is going to progress. And as usual, I will show you how random it is. It's very random, and it's very important. So this is my first, the yellow line here is my first profit goal, and we are trying to see the longest loss streak. And you see that gambling point. Why? Because we did, and now it became 8. Did you see that? So it became 8. Since it became 12, very interesting. So we will be playing this for a bit, and I want to see if it's gonna hit our very first profit goal. So 21 faces in total. So far it did hit 12 losing streak. So gambling point is 12, because you may want to invest $127.60, right? But you are gambling, because we know now it did hit 12. And my minimal face to be on the safe side would be the 13 face. And if you are betting 10 cents, you should have $184.80. But you want to be very safe, and that would be the safest point for 11 numbers. I pay attention to here too, because you see it wins, it loses, so I pay attention here too. And after we figure things out, there we go. We did hit in 304 spins, and now it increased to 2%. Okay, so this is very good, and it is actually surprising how it goes. And so far still it is 12 lows. I will fast forward from here. Okay, so we did hit 549. Sorry, we did hit 517.20. So that's amazing with 10 cents. Okay, and let's analyze it. And we are actually close. I am gonna run it a little bit more, and then we are gonna stop. But this is over 1,000 spin counts, correct? The longest loss streak we got is 14 losses with 11 numbers, and we didn't hit 15th face. Okay, so this is pretty good. And let's check some more data here. This is very good. We are making 4 cents per spin, and look at the profit and actual win rate. It's going to be very close. My goal is right now 549.47, and then we just hit that. So now we can stop, and I'm just gonna add that. The winning coverage, it's 11 numbers, right? Let's go down here and let's see the payout preview. The winning coverage is 29.73. Expected win, expected loss, and this is the probability. Okay, and let's go up, check more data here. So if you would like to play this to the minimal face, you will need 383.90. okay, but like I said, some people, they would like to track the progression, the dynamic of the table, and they want to wait, let's say after 3 losses, okay, they would like to wait, and then they want to progress from phase 4 to the minimal phase. So then you would need $127.60 instead. So if it's safer, it's good for your bankroll. I am not sure how you would like to play. I would bet on probably the hot numbers, but if you get loss, like say we bet 11 numbers in the first dozen, okay, so if the first dozen didn't hit 3 times, then you want to progress on the first dozen, then you wait 3 times, loss, and then you make your bets from phase 4 to phase 15, and then you need $127.60. So to this point, it is unbeatable. Look at that. So it depends. $300, almost $400 is not bad if you are playing with 11 numbers, and if your base bet is 10 cents, and if you are making $552.20 from 10 cents, so that's amazing. The spin count is here, it's over 1,000, it's pretty good. The next goal would be 686.84, and we got the maximum win here, maximum loss. So it tells me it's safe to the point. Will it go above this? Probably. If I run this for another 3,000-4,000 spins, we may see the gambling point is phase 15. But to this point, it's pretty good. We got the idea, and that's about it for this strategy. So regardless how you play your 11 numbers, you can go around 0, the neighbors, everything you need to do with 11 numbers. It really doesn't matter. What I am trying to see is the point of this losing streaks, safest point, and so on. So this is the first test, and from this point we want to check the critic report, and let's do that. Let's click on that. Let's generate the critic report and then see how it went. We achieved 344 wins against 341. This is super close. That's what I am trying to tell people. Probability is there. We don't need to worry about that a lot, and it's not the part of winning. We will use the probability to make better decisions, sure, and that's very important, but it's not the way to think. Why? Because what if we know that phase 15 is the minimal bankroll requirement. Gambling point is phase 14. So what if we start with 14 losses, right? The probability matters when it's a long shot, when it's a long play. And yes, it's 1,000 spin, over 1,000 spins, and you will see the probability is very close. Look, we had 802 losses, and the anticipated one is 805, like super close. So that's why we don't need to worry about that. We have to check these things though. How many spins? What is the gambling point? What is the minimal face bankroll requirement? And what is the safest point? And if this bankroll is too much for you, like I said, you can wait 3 times. One of the dozen loses, and if you like to play on the cold section, go ahead and bet on that dozen 11 numbers and then use this progression. You will get the win. Okay, so we are trying to create almost unbeatable strategy or the betting progression regardless. Okay, so this is number 1, and look at that. Winning coverage is 29.73, 30.02. This is actual winning. Okay, longest win streak is 6, loss streak is 14, and the session wins and the session losses, and look at that, expected wins and expected losses. So this is very, very interesting. After all those spins, the win difference and loss difference is not that much. And then you see that balanced, and that's the graphic right now, and it's a 5-star rated betting progression. Okay, and let's go down a bit. So now we have an idea, right? I would like to take this copy. Now it defines the strategy for me. I would like to add that. Now it's in the title, then it will help me. So we generate, save the strategy, and add it to the report. So what report? It is called True Probability Check. It gives me way more idea. Okay, so prediction versus actual. The probability was there, and it's super close. It's only 0.3% off. If you are playing 37 spins, you should expect 11 wins and 26 losses. If you are playing less numbers, this is the probability expectation. The other thing that I look, losing more than 15 spins in a row would be rare. That is what it told me, right? And at least 10 faces, at least. Now let's go down. I will show you this. Phase 15 up to phase 17. This is what I would consider. If I am playing 11 numbers, at least 17 faces as of now though, because it would change if I go for a million spin probably. But what I want to do is that we have phase 15, 16 and 17, right? Volatility is 6, not bad. And why it is rated 5-star. Consistent profit, strong ROI, and very good risk management. Okay, so I would like to export this, and there we go. So I will share that in the group probably, if I don't forget. So that's that. So now we have an idea, right? 11 numbers, 15 faces, and let's go here. We don't need that now. Now, what is the bankroll need? So this is the bankroll need. I will add here, paste, paste. I'm just looking for 1 day result and maybe 1,000 spins. So when I click on the run simulation button, it does accumulate. So it gives me an idea. So from my spin by spin test, we came to the conclusion that 15 is good, but it is minimal, right? 15 is minimal. And also this is the safest point, 16. And my report says create up to 17. So this is like very safe. We could create 17 faces, but let's stick with 15. Okay, so we should remember that. What I wanna see is that, let's see here, by the way, these are very close. Third dozen was winner and second column was winner. Look, see how close they are. 8, 5, 35, 13, and 30. Those were like the winners. Those are the hot numbers. Okay, so that we know. And we are gonna test it a little bit beyond this point now. Why? Because actually, let's do 2000 since we know 1000, right? And let's do 5%. Maybe it will hit, right? 5% point every day. And this is what we are wondering. So what I want to do is that I want to clear it up, the chart. So we start fresh here. And then we will see the 2000 spin results, okay? And then we are gonna see which ones are hitting the most, and we are gonna have a lot of information from here. So let's run this one. There we go. In 2000 spin, it did hit 18. 2000 spin, it did hit 18 4 times. Never 19, 20, and 21. Okay. So let's run again. Oh, and I want to show you guys here. So you are going to see see 19, 20, and 21 never hit. 13. So we will have more idea. Look at this one though. Did you see this one? Gambling point is 15 because it did hit 18. So it gives me gambling point for 2000 hits. So let's run a little more. Actually, let's press back to back. So these are 2000 and 2000 and 2000, okay? Gambling point is 17. So it kind of goes with my create at least 17 faces, and look at that, it's true, right? 19, 20, and 21 still didn't hit all after all these spins, right? Check this one. How many times in total it hit? Let's go more. Let's do 10,000. So after 10,000 spin, it's giving me 17. Gambling point is a gambling point. Let's go more. What if we do 10,000, 100,000? It is still calculating. And it's done. 17, 913,000, 0.032. So it's almost like a million. Okay, so this is very important information about 11 numbers. You have never seen this nowhere before. Okay, so let's decrease now. Let's go 1,000 and 1,000. Check this out, total profit. This is like every day you could make money like that, but you could also lose money like this. Okay, this is 2,000 spins. Okay, so let's go back again. We keep seeing this picture, guys. So if we create 18 faces, that's minimal face requirement. 18 minimal face requirement. Okay, so this is what I am trying to see from this strategy. So it's 11 numbers. You could play numbers, you could play random numbers, you could play neighbors, you could put 11 numbers on a dozen if you like dozen games, or Fibonacci. The progression is not Fibonacci, remember? So the progression is not Fibonacci, and it is just 11 numbers, and you will see the first 3 faces we don't even increase our bets. That's why it's really good. Actually, I love less numbers. I told you guys before, I am not a big fan of pushes. That drives me crazy, because I'm hitting my number and I'm not making anything. And yes, you stay in the game more, but there is no guarantee you are staying in the game more to lose more or to win more. So pushes are very pointless to me. Break evens, no, I am not interested in that. I want to make a little profit after a win. When my number hits, I want to win something, and I want to go back and reset, because we always argue about saving the bankroll and all that, but then we create faces and it doesn't recover in 3 consecutive wins. You need 3 consecutive wins to recover, and we call it safe. I don't think it's safe, because anything can happen. Okay, so we take a chance 3 times. I don't like that. I would like to make 1 cent profit, at least 1 cent profit when I hit my number. I don't like jackpots, especially when there are 3 different payouts going on in one strategy. If this hits, you do this. If this hits, you should do this. If you hit jackpot, you do that. Like, I don't like that. I like equally spreaded bets with no jackpots, and when I win, I want to win something and I would like to reset right away. I am a big fan of Fibonacci. I am a big fan of martingale plus some, and I am a big fan of tripling on 2 dozens, and these are my strategies. And I am a big fan of using a large bankroll, and I am a big fan of using a very small starting bet. And this is whatever I just told you guys is the formulation of any strategy to win, right? To make it close to unbeatable. And I will show you guys the other thing. This is my WheelPulse AI idea. I create strategies. I go make some money in the real casino, and my profit targets are not that high. I'm not looking for betting $10 and making $200. Sure, you can, but also if you lose, you will lose fast. I would like to take my time. I love the game. I love roulette game, and because my point is to be able to play it every day. So if I want to play it every day, I just have to bet very minimal. Then I can play every day, and I can test the strategies every day. So if I am making $5 out of 10 cents, that's a big gain. That's 50%, right? So I think we just have to focus on how we play any strategies. We gotta make sure before we go to the casino how much is in our pocket, how much should our profit target be, and their minimal bet requirements. Mostly in the casino is $3 and $10 inside outside bets. So you have to adjust everything before even you step in the casino. Never play drunk. That's no brainer, because the emotions are getting you. When you start losing, you bet more. You'll forget about your stop loss and stop win limits. Okay, thanks for watching.